Alright guys, and now we are back with the showdown between the Skaven, who shall be led by Lord Skrolk, and the Greenskins, who are going to be helmed by Dr. Doom and Darkness. So on that note guys, let's jump right into this match and see if we can fend off this massive herd of squigs. Definitely going to be some fun. So as far as the build goes, here in the front line we do have two groups of the Gutter Runners with Poison. These guys are very good against Greenskins. Granted, Greenskins have some decent countermeasures, and of course my opponent Hadrius is going to be going super wide, which is very solid. It's not going to give me too many good targets to focus with my artillery or my Doom Wheel, and as such, pretty much all of his troops are going to be Night Goblins. So Night Goblins here, he's got a couple groups of nasty Skulkers mixed in, of course Smoke Bombs, very good against Plague Furnaces and Doom Wheel, so that's a good choice as well. But nonetheless, Gutter Runners are a very good defensive unit, so even if you're not going to be using them to deal with enemy infantry, they're very good against things like Trolls, and Squigs are very lightly armored as well, with 50 armor, so you can kite the Squigs relatively speaking. I think 48 speed on these guys, and Squigs are 58, so I think with Poison, you're going to be a little bit faster than Squigs. So good against Squigs and Trolls, and if Dr. Doom and Darkness is flying over your head trying to snipe Skrolk, it's going to give him just shriekings to the face all day and do some good damage, slow him down, and allow Skrolk to escape. So two of the Gutter Runners, whole front line is going to be Skaven slaves in the front line who are going to be taking the initial beating. They're going to be followed up by a couple of groups of clan rats. So not going for infantry quality, which I don't think you really need to with Skaven. Just go cheap, go wide, and from there use Lord Skrolk or other characters to summon extra rats so you can get two groups of the Plague Monks, which is very nice against Greenskin Chaff, and also four groups of the Vermintide. So Skrolk very, very powerful, of course. By far the most competitive pick. Granted, the Bonebreaker Lord can be good, but yeah, here he's going to be very strong. So where we're really going to be getting our money's worth is going to be the Plague Claw Catapult. So we have two of these bad boys and also the Warp Lightning Cannon in the center. So the Catapult's going to be shooting downtown into the archers, doing some decent damage right out of the gates. And at the very least, they are a bit of a magnet, right? They're going to pull in a lot of skirmishers and harass units, and from there you can sometimes pick them apart with Rat Ogres. So we got a Doom Wheel as well, which is going to be diving in there a little bit dangerous. I got a little bit sloppy sending them in this direction. Two Rat Ogres in the back who are not going to be using the front line because the Greenskins will tear them apart with their archers. Oftentimes you're going to be seeing Orc Airboys, Goblin Archers, and they'll eradicate Rat Ogres for the cost. So I use them in the back to defend the cannon pieces, and once the battle becomes a little bit more devolved and wild, I then use them in the front and kind of move them forward. So for my opponent's army, Hadrius, you can see the fighting is going to be starting pretty quick here. He's got Azag up in the skies with Spirit Leech and Aspect of the Dread Knight, which is very good against Skaven. A bunch of Squig Herds, the Moon Howlers, just tons of mobile forces, Night Goblins, Squig Hoppers, and Vanguard. Whole front line of Night Goblins, two groups of the nasty Skulkers as well. More Squig Herds, and a whole back line of Archers and Trolls. And I like the Trolls kind of a wild pick. Just in case I went with like Doom Wheels and Furnaces, having the Trolls would have been super good, and even still, they could be good against my, my Doom Wheel over here. So let's get the show on the road. So the frontline fighting is about to be underway. A little bit sloppy with my positioning. I was trying to like rotate away, but unfortunately I'm just going to be taking this fight here. And the wall has been popped, so the clan rats will be jumping into the fight against these Night Goblins. And that's going to be a pretty violent little affair. Just all these angry rats and goblins fighting, and just all kinds of shenanigans are going to be afoot. So in the back, some of these Squig Hoppers looking to get in here, but I do have the Rat Ogres and Spears on guard duty, so we're relatively safe over here. But the Greenskins have hit hard and fast. They've crushed my Skaven slaves on the flanks, just feasting on their souls. Azag has also done some really good damage against the Doom Wheel, so a very, very bad start. I've lost quite a bit of troops. My frontline engagement was very awkward, but now we're starting to stabilize. In the back, he does go for a dive on my Catapult, the Plague Claw Catapult, and I'm able to intercept the Rat Ogres and Squig Hoppers. So the Catapult probably is going to have no issues. It's going to come back here. If it breaks, I should be able to re-rally it pretty quickly. Rat Ogre is getting some really good value off the Squig Hoppers, so now we're starting to trade efficiently. The Trolls here are going to be taking a pounding from the Warp Lightning Cannon and just getting my Spears in position to intercept the Moon Howlers. A very, very good kind of juking micro here, but this is where the Gutter Runners really shine. These guys are just kiting the Squigs, getting beautiful focus fire on Azag. I also do drop the Libra Bubonicus to do some solid damage to him, so he's poisoned, he's taking damage. Squigs are being kited, pretty much to the point of rampaging, and it looks like I might have stabilized his Doom Wheel. Up here in the hill, the Squigs have gone for the artillery piece, but again, I have Skaven slaves with spears here, and these guys I think are large. Yeah, they're large. I think regular Squigs are infantry size, but we'll go ahead and double check here in a minute. Yeah, no, they're actually large as well. For some reason, I thought that was like a weird nuance. And the Rat Ogres are going to be collapsing inward, so we've stabilized for the most part. So big overhead look at the battle. In the center here, we've done good damage to Azag. He has gotten the Moon Howlers on top of the Warp Lightning Cannon, but we're actually going to be bringing the Doom Wheel back here, which does cause terror. And it's going to be able to roast some of these goblins and these lads, and should be able to defend them off the artillery piece. So a couple attacks have been sent, shattered some Night Goblin Squig Hoppers. We've been able to deal with the Moon Howlers. Up here, we killed these guys. So that is a lot of gold worth of stuff we've killed. Now in the front line, it's a bit of a mix, just mishmash of things, right? Skaven slaves and clan rats are being beaten back, but they are fighting goblins, so it's not really the end of the world. And these Squigs have been almost dealt with. Skrolk doing a very good job, and the Gutter Runners just kiting them and poking them and doing a great job. It's just a bit of a deterrent unit. We've also had a couple summons here in the front line, so Clan Rats have been summoned. Plague Monks were summoned as well, who've been doing a very good job. And, the summoned Clan Rats putting a bit of a hurt here on the nasty Skulkers. Unfortunately, the Trolls are coming back in, but they've lost a couple models. I believe they've lost 4 in total. So we should be able to pile in and finish off those guys. And a very good Alpha Strike coming in from Hadrius. So he does jump here, tries to assassinate Skrolk with the Spirit Leech and a dive from Azag. but we're not going to be having that. We do have the Gut Runners here, our Warp Lightning Cannon shooting in, and I knew I needed some help because Skrulk was going to be taking a beating. Obviously, Azag is a very, very powerful duelist, so we're going to be kind of pathing the Doom Wheel in, which is going to tear out a lot of these guys, if not do a ton of damage. So we do get Azag very, very low there. Skrulk is broken, however, and the Plague Monks I summon, not going to have too many good targets, but I should be able to send them into the front line and do some good work. Another beautiful artillery blast coming in from the Warp Lightning Cannon right here, and the Gutter Runners with poison. Also doing some solid work, and like I said, very good backline defensive tool. If I was relying on other, Skaven troops, maybe more Rat Ogres, I wouldn't be able to kind of poke Azag up in the skies, and he could just sit above me and Spirit Leech people. Now, he either has to run, get poisoned, or he has to commit to an engagement. So right here, he's going to be getting blasted by the Warp Lightning Cannons. Skrulk doing some beautiful work contaminating him and breaking his leadership. So that's a great situation. Up in the high ground, unfortunately, he was able to kind of sneak in there with some Squig Hoppers and finish off my Plague Claw Catapult, but the Bounce Fire is pretty much even a slight advantage here after we've gotten Azag. But Skrulk is very low, and of course the Greenskins have a lot of troops they could potentially take out Skrulk with. So I'm going to be just doing my best to get all my summons off. I need to just pop them off, send them into the front line. But the Rat Ogres, now that the back line of the Greenskins have been taking a pounding from the Plague Claw Catapults, so it's not something we've really focused on very heavily in this commentary, but a lot of the Plague Claw Catapults this whole game, I was making a very meticulous effort to focus down the archer units, at which point the Rat Ogres and my other troops are going to run pretty much wild. So the back line of the Greenskins, it's going to be buckling to the Rat Ogres and just hordes of angry rats and Plague Monks. Over here, the Skaven Slaves and the Clan Rats, obviously up to the task of fighting Goblin Archers, so quite a good situation there. And more importantly, the Doom Wheel is still alive, so any kind of scraps in my back line, I can use the Doom Wheel, I can instantly terror out them for the most part and chase them off the battlefield. So the Warp Lightning Cannon trying to get some decent line of sight on Azag, and it looks like he's going to be breaking off the map. It's very, very close. He might come back, but it looks like he's back. Now he has 139 HP, which is pretty impressive that he actually came back, but most likely he's going to shatter if he takes any additional fire. He is behind the trees right now, so I can't quite get that line of sight, but we're going to be trying our best to polish him off. Over here in the pits, you can see the trolls relatively low. Yeah, they're at 6 models. They're not going to be getting up too much more. I mean, they're at their half capacity essentially, but they have pretty bad leadership. So any focus fire from these Night Runners, or these these Gutter Runners, or the Warp Lightning Cannon turning around the blasting in the face is going to be pretty devastating. Over here on the flanks, a bit of a last death throw here from the Squig Herds, going to be jumping in on the Plague Claw Catapult, and they do have it shaken, but the Rat Ogres, like you guys have seen in countless replays, whenever I play with like Skaven and I'm using artillery, I use Rat Ogres as like a backline sweeping tool. Now Rat Ogres are very good in the front line as well, but again, your build needs to be like contoured for that, in my opinion. So the Rat Ogres here are going to be just crumping all over these Squig Herds, and that's pretty much going to be all she wrote for the Greenskins. So Skaven artillery and layered combat tactics, I think, are insanely powerful. I played another game with Hadrius, which will be going up relatively soon, where he played Skaven, and you get to see a pretty similar tactic illustrated. But man, it is just so damn good. The catapults do really good damage against Greenskins, and the main thing, if you want to be good at this style of play, just really focus on playing like a top overhead view. Even if you're using the debug camera, it's actually pretty good for that. You sit far overhead, even though I don't use it myself. I just don't like it. I don't know why. But Plague Claw Catapults, you just make sure they're online, make sure they're shooting the priority targets that can threaten your other things like Rat Ogres and Doom Wheels. And from there, you're going to be pretty happy. Warp Lightning is a pretty good deterrent against Flying Lords and Skrulk sniping, because, that's pretty much one of the best ways to beat the Skaven in general. If you can kill their Lord, or, it's often going to be Skrulk, you're going to be in a relatively good position. But yeah, you use the Skaven Slaves to take the initial beating. Look at these proud guys. 2 kills. Clan Rats then follow up, and once the Clan Rats buckle, you use your summons to kind of support them. You kite them back even more with the Gutter Runners. Use the Doom Wheel to pick apart their loose forces. It's pretty damn strong, for sure. So as far as Hadri's army, I think it's pretty good. I mean, I think just going wide with tons of goblins is always pretty strong. And I do like the Wild Troll pick occasionally, because it's really good against Skaven like Doom Wheels and Plague Furnaces and stuff like that, because they have good mass. But honestly, I'd probably cut the Trolls. I just feel like they're so risky. But the Squig Hoppers I love. They're shielded, really good at chasing down Skaven skirmishers. The Archers are going to be able to kill Hellpit Abominations and Rat Ogres. But I'm trying to think. Azag up in the sky, he's pretty damn good. He's really, really good for sure. I mean, Warzog's pretty good here as well, but on the Baconator, he can be sniped if the Skaven go heavy with artillery. But if someone goes like really heavy into the Warp Lightning Cannons, yes, you'll probably lose Azag, but their force will then be so weak that, just from the lack of investment and other things, that you're probably going to lose to like the mass amounts of infantry. But it's hard to say. I'd have to take that one to the drawing board and see what I would bring to actually, take down a Skaven build like this. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the Skaven versus Greenskin showdown, and that is pretty much it for now. See you guys next time, and take care.